This is my 2009 Chevrolet Cobalt SS Turbo. So I'll be giving you guys an ownership review of this 2009 Chevrolet Cobalt SS. So basically I've had this car for about 5 years going on 6. I originally bought it for $15,000 at about 50,000 miles. The car does have 140,000 miles on it. So let's start with the engine. So what you see here is a 2.0 liter direct fuel injection turbocharged engine. It's pushing about 260 to the crank, 260 torque. To be specific, it's got a KO4 turbo and it's pushing about 15 pounds of boost. It's got an F35 5-speed manual transmission. So everything that you see here is basically stock other than the filter and the intercooler that I have installed. As far as everything else goes, stock internals, stock piping, stock exhaust, and it also has no tune. There's no tune on it. Stock. As far as major components I've had to replace throughout the years, believe it or not, it's very little that I've had to replace. I've replaced a coil backs about 2 months ago for the very first time. I replaced my high pressure fuel pump, which is very easy to replace. It's a simple bolt-on, easy to get to, easy access, so convenient. Thank you, Chevy, for that. And I've also had to replace the shifter cable links, which you cannot see. I've changed other things like tie rods and tires and all that stuff, right? Regular maintenance stuff. But as far as major components, those are pretty much the only things I've had to replace, you know. And then keep in mind, I've had this car for about 5 years going on 6, so that's actually pretty impressive. I had not had to touch the engine, no internals, no transmission, no clutch, still stock clutch. So as far as modifications go, I've installed a K&N cold air intake, which costed me about $275 on ZZP Performance website. The only issue I have with this is the mounting issue, and when it gets hot, this was rubbing with this. I don't know if you can see, but it made a hole. It made a hole on this. That's the only issue I've had with this. Is the mounting brackets for some reason did not align with any of the mounting on the engine block. So I guess I'm just gonna have to improvise and make my own bracket. So I also installed a aftermarket intercooler from ZZP Performance, costing me about 340 bucks. It's the standard size, stock piping, and it's actually very beneficial in the summer, man. It helps you with heat soak, that's for damn sure. I don't know if you can see the clearance on it. It kind of peaks a little bit under the bumper, not too much. Nothing to worry about. So these are the stock wheels that the car comes in. They're 18-inch forged wheels on 225 40R18s, and they come with stock Brembo 4-piston brakes. Yes, stock. I also purchased the drill slider rotors for it. All 4 of them costed me about close to $400. I don't think they're worth it, but they look pretty cool. I like how they look. Our suspension, she is sitting on lowering springs, 1.5 inches from stock. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, the suspension is pretty shot to shit. You know, there's a lot of cracking and popping, especially when I turn. But I definitely recommend coilovers. Like I said before, this is the stock exhaust. This is the tip. As far as routine maintenance goes, I don't claim to be a mechanic or an expert or anything like that, but some of the things that I do to my car to keep it, well maintained is I change my oil basically every 1,500 to 2,000 miles. So I flush my fluids once a year. Brake fluid I use .3/4. My transmission fluid I use Redline MT90, which is an aftermarket brand, but it's safe to use. I recommend just using the GM product, you know, just for a safer bet. And also spark plugs. I only use AC Delco. I've used Autolites, I've used NGKs. You know, AC Delco is the way to go. Now, as far as interior wise, you can notice right away the bucket seats. You got the SS emblem embroiled into the seat. You have pretty much suede material with leather trim. I'm not sure if this is leather or pleather, but it still looks pretty nice. You know, kind of just circles around the seat. Now, these are the back seats. Again, they're suede with some pleather/leather trimming. There's not a lot of space back here, honestly. Overall, the comfort on these seats, front and back seats, they're not comfy at all, man. Definitely not the seat you want to sit on for like a 4-hour trip. One issue you will definitely run into are the door panels like falling off. I had to use a really strong adhesive to hold this together. So what you have here is your analog gauge, which reads your boost, how much you're boosting, your cam phasers, your coolant temperature, your fuel pressure, your airflow ratio, and also you can also read your speedometer and G-force, and also how much horsepower you're getting from the car. So some of the cool features that this car has is you have the option to turn off traction control off with a single button, and if you push it twice, it puts you in competition mode or competitive mode, and it gives you launch control, and you can launch the car at 51 RPMs. So it's a pretty cool feature if you take it to the track. And just to verify if you're competitive mode, it also shows you on the analog gauge. Now, if you engage the traction control button and hold it for 3 seconds, it completely turns off electronic stability control. Now, I'm not sure if it completely turns it off or there's like some parameters with it, but it says that it's off, so it's off. This car also has a no lift shift feature, which basically gives you the ability to shift gears without, you know, letting go of the throttle. So, you know, you're able to hold, you know, your boost throughout the gears. It also has an OnStart feature, which I never use. And I also installed a short shifter from ZZP Performance. So this car was built on a very low budget. So a lot of the money went into the transmission, went into the engine, the drivetrain, the suspension. And one thing this car lacks is a good interior. So that is why everything on this car, as far as interior, is plastic. You got plastic door panels, plastic trimming, plastic glove compartment. The entire dash is plastic. Plastic trimming. So everything is plastic. Which leads to a lot of cabin noise in this car. That is one thing I don't like about this car, is a lot of cabin noise. You can hear the interior creak, crack as you drive. One of my favorite features of this car is the 7-speaker system from Pioneer. It's got an aux option, it's got a USB port, you know, for iPhone users, so you're good. It also has a 10-inch DVC subwoofer in the back. You see my tries and my tribulation, you can tell them demons trying to capture me. Only thing that ever mattered to me was my niggas. I know these niggas don't ride, y'all switch triggers. You gotta put them. Now, as far as exterior goes, the paint is pretty well taken care of. It still shines. Not like new, but I'm pretty impressed on the condition of the paint. Now, the only issues that I have is the paint is chipping on the door sails right here. The gloss is completely gone. You can see some of the chipping there. These are actually the original tail lights, and as you can see, the heat of the bulb is penetrating through the plastic. Yes. Now, one thing I don't like about this wing is the fact that it's so flimsy. I've noticed that every Cobalt that has this type of wing it's very loose. You can definitely make it a lot more sturdy if you add some adhesive on it, but yeah, it's just really annoying that they're so flimsy. These are custom built headlights that I built myself. It's very hard to find good looking headlights out in the aftermarket. Some of the headlights are just too sophisticated. There's just so much going on. There's LED lights here, LED lights there, 2 projectors, and it doesn't really look clean. All the parts that I bought from were from Retrofit Source. You have the H1 minis projectors. They're bi-xenon, so you have your highs and your lows. You have the E55 shroud, and altogether it cost me about a good $750. That's which included all the tools that I needed, all the equipment, all the hardware, and it also has the Demon Eye mod. Now, with all that said, this car boils down to a few words: the SS equals fun. Now, this car is really fun to drive. It's not super quick. It's not like super torquey. Like, the power band is very linear throughout the RPMs, but it can also be described as a can of whoop ass, because it literally looks like a tin can from like 10 feet away. It has a lot of whoop ass in it. So now I'm only speaking for the turbocharged versions of the Cobalts, because I don't know much about the LSJs other than that they're port injected and their engines are more sturdy. But would I recommend buying a Cobalt SS Turbo? I definitely would recommend one for a project car. I wouldn't buy one as a DD. Most of these cars are beat up on the road. People have abused them, and you know, they're 11 years old, so obviously. Now, these cars go between $5,000 $8,000 retail price. I would personally not buy one over $7,000. So that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you guys want to see this car in action, check out my buddy's channel, Cameron Hill. I'll see you guys in my next video.